Now getting onto this climb, if we just update the viewers, some people have been with us all the way through, but I understand what we're talking about now is going to be repeated tomorrow morning between 8:30 and 9:30 Central European time, and that's going to be 7:30, 8:30 in British Eurosport time. And so maybe some people may be listening to this in the morning while they're brushing their teeth and having their breakfast, whatever the case they're going to do tomorrow. So what we'll do, dear viewers, sorry if you've heard this all before, we'll quickly go through the situation on the classification that may change the result of the stage day. You can see the climb they're going up now. This is where the mountain goats will start to perform, and the man in the pink jersey, Hepner, he's got guts and he can go up certain sides of climbs, but with his bad knee and the length of this climb, it could be difficult. The two chaps on the left-hand side of the screen at the moment have been away since 20 kilometres out, and they are expected to be pulled back by the main group. But even if they stayed out there and just won by a gnat's whisker or half a street or something, they still won't take the jersey because they're too far down. So we'll look now, and Christie will take us through the situation as the riders go up here towards the top of the climb. Well, we'll come back in just a moment as we're just watching who's doing the chase. The chase at the moment then is with Fassa Bertolo. We've just been hearing over headphones in the last gap, 3 minutes and 7 seconds to Zampieri and Mazzolini on the climb here, and back chasing is the Fassa Bertolo team, kissing us goodbye. But you're going to, okay, you've done well at the moment, lads, but any minute now they come hounding up here, I should think. So the situation, Hepner there with the bad knee. Where's the pink jersey? If we take him out of the equation, what's it look like for the rest of the contenders for the pink jersey by the time we get to Milan?
Well, David, taking Hepner out of the equation, you're really starting with Casagrande at 0, and then Salvadelli 18 seconds, Simoni 20 seconds, Belli 30 seconds, Escartin 35 seconds, Hamilton 37 seconds, Evans 38 seconds, Frigo 53 seconds, Noe 1 minute 11, and Gotti at 3 minutes 45. We're looking at 7 riders under it, within about a minute of each other, and on climbs like these, that's nothing. That's really nothing. These are also a group of men who can all climb the mountain, and they can all time trial.
So we're looking then really, what, less than a minute, isn't it, covering all those key riders in there. Andre Noe 1:11 back, well, Gotti 3:45. He's probably getting into his twilight years, I suppose, so he can't really make that up today, but he may close up, as Pantani may close up, but generally speaking, those that you've just read out are going to be the ones to watch out for today. Graphics we've been seeing have been excluding some of these. These are the ones that we, tapping the side of our nose, think we should be looking out for, eh?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's good to interject a little bit of our own predictions. I know we've had a bit of fun with that so far, so I think it's good to do that. But not only can these men climb, but they also are surrounded, most of them, by quite strong teams, and teams which can control this event to some level. So there should be a good battle on our hands. Right,
what we're trying to do is pick out some of the colours of those teams, and after a while they'll be slimming themselves down. You also saw a graphic coming up there which confirmed the result of the Intergiro. So Straccia in the 3rd spot, who is leading on that competition, will still continue to hold that position as the Fassa Bertolo team start to try and pull back our 2 breakaway riders here at the front. In the overall classification for the King of the Mountains competition, the green jersey is being worn by Mazzoli with 12 points. He rides for the Formaggi team, and Formaggi Trentin need to give it the full name, and he is there with 12 points. Francesco Casagrande has 10 points, just 2 behind him. And Mazzoli really got it yesterday when he went over one of the only climbs we had in the day, and Casagrande didn't score on that occasion, so he's got 12 points, Casagrande with 10. Castablanco, who was up there, so I think he won the climb yesterday, has got 8 points. He's in 3rd spot. Here's the climb. We've got to watch out for the Colombians, by the way. We're talking about the gap between the top chaps who are going for the pink jersey, but the Colombians usually turn up with a pretty good climber. Very often those we've not seen before, and you look around and think, where the heck's he come from? And you suddenly realise that he's riding for the Selle Italia Columbia team, and you think, oh, that's where he is. And so we won't be the least bit surprised if they don't. Oh, down the road he goes. That's it. He's had enough of his companion now, and he's decided better well get a move on down the road and do it on his own now.
Well, David, there's certainly no benefit for 2 riders to work together on this stage at this point in this stage. When it's a bit flatter and it's undulating, then they can help each other. But on this climb, it's really going to be the climb of the individuals. So he's best just to take off on his own. And also, it does look like Mazzolini is suffering quite badly.
And going back then to the points, there are 15 points for the first man to get to the top of the climb today, 10 for second, then 6.42. So it drops rather alarmingly after second spot, down to 6.42. So we've got to really watch out for the first and second riders at the top of it, see if that jersey is going to change. But it's a green jersey, unlike the Tour de France has a spotty jersey. Every tour can have different coloured jerseys to suit the organiser's desire to ring the changes and to suit his sponsors as much as anything.
And that brings me to another point, which I actually learned this just the other day, and I was pretty interested to learn this. Why a pink jersey for the leader's jersey? And the reason is not just because Gazzetta dello Sport is made of pink paper, which it is. It's made of pink paper because at the time when the newspaper was being founded, and it's the #1 selling sport newspaper in the world, pink paper was the cheapest paper on the market, and so they could print the paper with less cost. So now at this point it doesn't matter if you can remember the name or not, you can go to the news station and you can pick up the pink paper. It's the only one of its nature, and they're the organizer of the event.
Right, so one by one the riders have no chance of getting the pink jersey on their shoulder unless they get themselves a pink t-shirt drifting off the front. Looking down there, the colours look a bit pinkish. That's the Telecom team in the magenta colours. One thing which doesn't happen, actually, interesting, Christie, is the way that now Hepner's having to do a lot on his own. Perez is moving up in the orange jersey to take over the front. Is that it happens only in the Tour de France. With the Tour of Spain and the Tour of Italy, they don't seem to be bothered, the organiser, if there's a team riding with an almost similar coloured jersey, because there's not a lot of difference between the Telecom jersey and either the pink jersey or the one that is led in the sprint. Whereas as far as the Tour de France is, because anybody's got yellow jersey, boy, you've got to change it, and that's it.
That's right. I remember the Once team used to have to change and ride in pink during the Tour de France because they couldn't wear the yellow team jerseys. And it is confusing. As a photographer, I certainly look at that and think that just gets a little bit too confusing when you've got lots and lots of yellow jerseys, or in this case, well, pink isn't so bad because there's only one team.
Oops. So the Amateurs has managed to come past the other way, past the riders. It's always a danger because the riders do ride on the basis that there's nothing coming the other way, but they will have been warned about what's happening. Obviously, at the back there, Nardella beginning to struggle just a little bit and finding the pressure a bit too much for him, and not surprising because he's one of the all-round riders, but will not be up there on the climb like this. So there's the gaps opening up on your screen. Some of those, well, not just the sprinter specialists, but those all-rounders too. Good news for the supporters of, we're just getting the track coming up. So we're getting some of the action back there at the moment. We saw Perez start to prize himself off the front of the field, and so as they're now beginning to be a bit more active. Just a bit of late news then as Messer started to go off from the Formaggi Trentini team, that Baden Cook got a great ride yesterday. He won that Grand Prix Mid-Italy, but the first stage in the race. So it was a good ride there as far as he's concerned. He beat some jolly good people in the sprint too, men like Usov from the Phonak team, and Kurtz from the Domo squad was in third spot. Simon from Bonjour was fourth in there. Lance Armstrong came in just in 23rd in the main pack, didn't lose any time. So it's a jolly good ride yesterday from Baden Cook, who's recovering from that illness. He had bronchitis or chest trouble or something. Right, here they come, back to this race now. This is the Tour of Italy, and the main pack are now about to swallow up our leaders one by one.
Well, it was a pretty gutsy move on Messer's part to go at this point. It doesn't look like he'll stay away from everyone, but he'll stay away from the main group, certainly. And it is easier to climb on your own if you're not following a wheel.
And so the climbers now relishing the moment. They've only had one climb so far, and in this race of any great substance, now they're tackling a cracker. Well, the field is certainly slimming down on the decline toward the top of the stage today. Stage finish at Campitella Matese. 140 kilometres will have been covered when they get there. 86 miles, that is. 169 riders started today following McEwen's retirement to go back home with his success yesterday and to meet up with his baby son. Many riders here now. It's a different set we're going to see at the finish today than we've seen in the sprint so far. But you can see the gap there with Mazzolini and Zampieri, who went away after 20 kilometres of race. They managed to join back up again. We've had a sort of bit of a prize, or prize itself off the main pack one rider, but generally speaking, the main pack is beginning to just work steadily to pull back the breakaways. Here he comes back again now, and well, It's only just been company, really, isn't it?
Yeah, Mazzolini's done a good job at actually catching Zamperi again. It didn't look like he was going to do that. He must have dug pretty deep to make that happen. They've just gone through the 10 kilometers to go sign, and the main group is only just over 2 minutes behind them. So they know that if they're going to stay away, it's going to take every inch of effort. Also, a person we haven't talked much about, but I know that you feel very strongly about his abilities, is Escartin.
Yes, you won't see much of him until a bit further down the road now, but if he's spotted the yellow jersey, he's got a habit of hanging a fair way off the pace and then coming through. And I just feel somehow that Escartin is always getting advanced in years. He's a wily old goat, and I think somehow he might surprise a few people. He's not been popping up there at all, and he's got that ability always. If you look down his successes over the years, he's not won many races, but on the big tours he's always there or thereabouts. And Coast, I think, really must be smarting on the fact they didn't get picked for the Tour de France, so they've got to do something in this race as well. I think that's what they're going to do. They've got Guidi doing well in the sprints, and I think they're going to say, come on Escartin, have a crack at this one. And we don't have to look back at how Zulla's been going this year too as well, so they must be smarting, and certainly the sponsors smarting after not being selected for the Tour. So I think he's going to say, come on lads, bury yourself in some of these races and just show Mr. Jean-Marie Leblanc and his mates that we should have been on the start line in Luxembourg.
Yeah, Jean-Marie Leblanc's going to have a few people to answer to, I think, with some of his choices. They're not so popular, and they don't seem to have a great deal of logic. But I'm saying that from an outsider's point of view. I don't know what he's got happening in his mind. But Escartin, I remember, won a stage. It was the stage which passed over the Galibier in horrible torrential rain, where Lance took the yellow jersey in the Tour de France, but Escartin was so far up the road that people actually thought that Lance won the stage to some degree. The people on the road, that is, who didn't have the television coverage. Escartin just went away and didn't look back.
Well, we'll probably see him in action now. 10 kilometers to go, you can see there on your screens, and it hasn't really, they haven't really sort of ripped it to pieces yet a while, and so the 1:48 is the last gap coming up at the moment. So they were just for 1:47 to be more precise. It's actually coming down as we speak all the time. So I think their days are numbered. It depends now who's the DAC main group at the moment, Christie. It doesn't seem to me they've actually put the the foot down, do they? They're just riding to blow people out the back steadily. Look, here's the top men coming through now. That we're beginning to see the pressure coming on the main. All the teams that have got good climbers. We have the yellow colours of the Columbia lads, Italia. There's Casagrande just coming through. Rebellin just behind him. There on the left-hand side with a little beard. That's Simone coming through. And I think one of the Colombian lads has done a little dive up. Now Pantani here. Is with the King of the Mountains rider at the moment, so he's got company Marzoli, but they've got a bit of work to do here because they're drifting off the back. They may get back, but no, too far, that's it. Goodbye, Mr. Pantani. No, they're going to have to regroup, and they certainly aren't going to get up through that lot. That's then I think the victor's going to come from that group today.
Yeah, I think you're right, David. They've only got to take back about 12 seconds per kilometer now on the two out the front, and I think the fact that Mazzolini and Zamperi have been away for so long that they're going to suffer now at the hands of their aggression, and that these little slight climbers like this one here, number 43, are going to catch them without looking back.
Well, Castablanco, he is lying third on the King of Mountains competition with just 8 points right now. And I said to you on the programme that these Colombians are suddenly quite capable of nipping out and surprising a few people. Although I'd rather get the impression the way he's riding, he might have gone a bit too soon. I don't know. Time will tell, but he's certainly very powerful coming up here. But as to whether he can survive, I'm not quite sure.
He is cranking a pretty big gear. A lot of times you see, like with the style of Armstrong now and with the style of Pantani, you see them almost dancing on the pedals, and he's not doing that. He's sitting quite hard in the saddle, a bit more like Ulrich climbed or Indurain. He's really cranking quite a big gear.
Well, he won that climb up the Montefiore Ipino yesterday, the second category climb. He was over there ahead of Marzoli and Lunghi when he managed to pick up these points in the King of Mountains competition. So he's now well ahead of Marzoli, who's leading in the green jersey, who's down the pack there with Pantani. They're out of the frame anyway. Casagrande, who's second in the King of Mountains competition with 12 points, is in the little chasing group not far behind the Colombian. And so, well, we'll just see how it goes as we get towards it. Simone with 6 points in the competition too will be, I think, looking for points today. But the main thing they're after today is the pink jersey. We must look out for Hepner next time we go back with the camera.
Yeah, we must. I'm not sure if he's in that first group anymore. I didn't see a lot of pink colors, so I don't know if there's many telecom members at all there. But Casablanca keeps looking behind him, and that makes me think that possibly they are catching him.
Well, let's, I'm trying to listen on the headphones. They're going to identify the splits in the groups and to where.
Well, the last gap we heard on this, from the first group here to Casablanca. Oh, there, he's caught. He's gone backwards there. It did look like he was concerned that he could hear something, or he knew they were there. Oh, and he's doing something with his shoe here. He's having a mechanical problem.
Or is he just strapping up the? Is that the Velcro fastening?
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
I was actually making a bit of a joke there because we were discussing yesterday that whenever someone's going wrong, they're having a mechanical problem. Possibly he was having a Velcro issue.
Well, it looks like he might have done there, or just letting it off a bit if he's decided there's no sense having his feet really well and truly screwed in. And looking down here to see if we can spot the pink jersey of Hepner. There's still one of his teammates up there. Lots of red and white jerseys for the CSC Tiscali lot, by the way, which looks good. That bodes well for Hamilton, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Hamilton, they would have picked a team to support Hamilton in this event for sure, and that would have consisted of quite a few climbers.
That's the red and white team shirts, by the way. If we go back down there, we're looking at the two leaders here, Zamperi and Mazzoloni.
The other interesting thing about Tiscali is that they're all still there. They have a totally complete team. They have 9 riders.
Perez is off. Now this is the loose cannon, I think is the word, and nobody knows what he's going to do. I don't think he knows what he's going to do either. And as the Panria Fiordro team is a bit thin on the ground, by the way, they've just got Perez, you see on the screen here now, Duma from the Ukraine is riding with them, and Senyshkin and Delgado. And in fact, certainly Senyshkin and Delgado are not mountain climbers by any means. Therefore, he's on his own, this poor chap, and so he's decided to do what he knows best, just nip off down the road. Amazing character, the Mexican. I think he just does his own thing. Now he's gone, and he's just doing what he wants to do. Let's see if he succeeds. The Colombian didn't make it. Now can he do it?
But look at the size of him. He's built perfectly for exactly what he's doing, and he's got no choice. He's got very few teammates who could even keep up with him, much less help him from behind. So he might as well give it a shot.
It's coming down now. I think it's only 42 seconds or something I just heard. Well, no, they're down to 30 seconds to Perez. Yeah, here they come. And Saiko's gone up there. I don't think they've only. I think that Savas Kaskas of the Lithuanian rider here for the Saiko team, I suggest he's only been put up there as a stepping stone, though, for Simone. There's no reason to let him go like this, because Simone should want, unless Simone said, look, I'm on a bad day, go and stretch him a bit and see what happens. But anyway, he's been let go at the moment. That's quite unusual tactics then, because normally that Simone would like his mates to be round about him, unless of course he feels he can accelerate and catch up and then work with the man down the road. We shall see. Another attack coming up now, as this time it's on Lotto Adeko, and this is Verbrugge. Rick, yep.
Rick Verbrugge is an interesting one because he's a big man for this sort of move, but he could possibly muscle through and at least catch up with the front ones.
Yeah, it's a climb that you can keep going all the way. I said earlier on, it isn't like one of those nasty ones we often see in the Tour of Spain, where it's like suddenly riding on a brick wall. And it's consistent, but it's not too bad. I mean, as they go up towards the top of this climb, in the percentage terms that they're going up here, the average is not, I think. In fact, Casagrande's coming now. We're coming over ahead. Casagrande's coming.
Oh, it would be wonderful to see him take this stage, actually, to go ahead and make that move and say, I'm ready. I want it. I want the pink jersey.
So the climbers now, the attack's coming thick and fast. It's going to rise in 885 metres. That's the actual height of from sea level that they're actually going to be riding up. As now Perez goes storming past the two lads who've entertained us so far, Steve Zamperi and Renzo Mazzoloni, and they're suddenly now having difficulty even getting clear into the slipstream of Perez, who just went, I'm here, I'm off I go. And you can tell, by the way, the size of the head on the bicycle, how small he is, because those little tiny head. And here comes Casagrande looking back there, and behind him Simone is starting to go as well. So this climbing 13.6 kilometres in all. The average is 6.8% and the hardest is 12%. Not too bad.
Yeah, Simone's not going to let him take any moves without him. And this could really hurt Simone if he's having any sort of weakness at all. Obviously, Casagrande's feeling good if he's attacking. But he's now he's going back into the peloton, so maybe not feeling so good.
There's Rick Verbrugge. He's now going to be hauled into by Simone, who's gone past Casagrande. And the acceleration, in fact, there is Evans. Cadel Evans has made it. He's also made it. Looks like Piccoli's also got up there too. Rebellin has made it too as well. And Belli is likewise also there at the moment. They're pulling back
Cadel.
his teammate. Yeah, quick look over his shoulder. No, he can't get in the wheel, or can he? He's suddenly grovelling back there. Piccoli just made it, yes, and there's a bit of work. Rebellin's got one of his teammates taking him through. There is Belli, and the Tiscali boys looking for Hamilton. He's got lots of strapping around his knee and elbows, so you can soon pick him out in the red and white. He's got more white on his arms than he has Suntown. Hamilton there, as yet again Casagrande starts to put the pressure on. So still on the left-hand side, you can see the rider in the lead, Perez. And there's Escartin, and alongside Hepner. Hepner's still there. Escartin, that unusual position, all hunched back and thin arms and thin legs, just riding. Still Hepner, though, in this group. Not doing anything. It's just trying to minimise his deficit on the leaders. Look at that low gear Perez is on, Christie.
Yeah,
that spins them. Now that's an example. I often feel, how about you, that a lot of riders over gear, even on the flat and on the climb, but he looks comfortable, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he looks a lot more comfortable and a lot fresher than the ones who are crunching big gears. And that's been Lance's secret. That's been the big change in Lance's riding style from when he started in 92, 93.
Yeah, I noticed that. Lance has really low gears he's got now, Lance Armstrong. It's amazing how he suddenly changed and learned to twiddle these gears. Must have been a very determined act on his part to do that.
Oh, it was a conscious change in style, and I think he's picked that up from riders like Pantani, who automatically do that. Even Escartin, although it does look painful when he's riding, he also pedals a very small gear.
So Casablanca's gone back again just in front of Perez, so it's possible to jump across from the main pack, and Perez now has got a bit of company. And both these sort of climbers here, the Colombian and the Mexican, this is their territory. It's not as hot as where they'd normally be, and they even climb in climbs in Mexico and Colombia. They're even further up that they have to go up into where there's very thin air too. As yet again, we're having these attacks coming thick and fast from the Lotto team, and this is Verbrugge going yet again.
Rick being such a good time trialist, he obviously rides very well as an individual, and for him to be trying his hand at this stage is a bit surprising.
Yes, I suppose he's hoping that he just wear them down, because he isn't a great thrower. I don't think he's up on the general classification too far up, is it, at the moment, Rick? I think I marked him off earlier on, but Verbrugge was. But yes, in fact, he's lying 19th spot at the moment. Was it 5:10 down?
He's just over a minute.
Yeah.
Off the pace of Casagrande.
So that's going to be interesting if he can do this one. They'll certainly mark his card, though.
That makes sense for what he's doing now. That actually explains a little bit. Today might be his only day at a shot in the pink jersey.
Yeah, could be. But there's a lot of talent back here. Do bear in mind, still there's the 12, 8 and 4 seconds bonus for the first three across the line, so that might be splitting these lot, because we've got less than a minute difference between the main contenders for the crown. But with Hepner still hanging on in there, he could still stay in pink at the end of this stage today, the way it's looking at the moment. It hasn't really exploded, has it?
No, it hasn't. And if he can finish anywhere within, what is it, 4 minutes of Casagrande or the rest of the pack, he's got it. He's got the pink jersey, and I think that's big motivation for him today.
Well, so it certainly goes on, as far as he's concerned, as an opportunity for him to keep that pink jersey, and it does lift everybody who gets a leader's jersey. Later on they say, well, how do you manage such a decent time trial when you've never done it before? Well, the jersey and the crowds along the road spurred me on, and that certainly happens time and time again, and even in the mountains as well, wherever it might be, a leader's jersey, you've got responsibilities, and you've also had the support of the team for so many days too. Psychologically, he must have really felt good in the last few days with the telecom team, who know how to look after a leader's jersey, don't they?
Absolutely, and there's huge responsibility, and there's also huge motivation that comes with being the leader of an event like this. This is a huge bike race. This is not one of the ones that it's not like a one-day event. So to be carrying it for this many days, and certainly when people are doubting you, it's even more important. I remember in the Tour of Langkawi, Hunter had the jersey, Robert Hunter from the Mapai team had the jersey for 9 stages, and going into the 9th stage, which was the mountain stage, everyone said you're going to lose it, and it turned out he was the first Mapai rider up the big climb. He lost it by seconds, literally 1 or 2, not many seconds, and he put in a fabulous ride. No one could believe the strength he had on the climb, because as a pure sprinter that normally doesn't happen, but it was strictly the motivation and to make everybody say, don't ever rule me out.
And that's some stinking climb, isn't it, too, that one up to the top of the
Genting Highlands, yeah.
Something else, yeah. Right then, so the interesting tactics being played by the Psycho team, who've got a lot of strength in depth, as have the Fassa Bartolo team here, because they've been firing off their men down the road, and they've sent off again the Lithuanian rider, who probably doesn't get much chance to ride in conditions like this one, Saboles Laukas, and he's gone off down the road, and his job, therefore, I think, is just to try and put the lid on the little lone riders who are down there, while the big boys sort themselves out. But still, let's see how it goes. They're getting towards probably the point where if they're going to do anything now, I think, Christie, we're going to see, yes, it's beginning to thin out now, getting one long line.
Absolutely. Now, I haven't seen Hamilton in a while. I've been looking for him. Oh, there he is. Okay. He's right there with them then. And there's Cadell, and there's Noe, and a few others. I can't really tell. It's very hard to see who's there. But it does seem that all of the ones on our personal list are there.
Yeah. And still Perez riding on at the front with the Colombian right up alongside him. And so these two now.
And there's Rick cranking it out.
Yeah, trying to get up to them for a bit of comfort and companionship.
For sure, this is a harder ride he's having today than the day he won the stage.
Yes, definitely.
Because this just doesn't suit him as well. But it's interesting that when Casagrande went, Simoni not only shut it down, but now he's half-wheeling him.
And Tepno, we briefly pick him up as the camera goes round towards the back of the field, and he's just got one job to do. That's just stay within this, about 3 minutes, I suppose, of this little lot. And the longer they go up this climb without dropping off the back, the more chance he has of keeping that pink jersey. So a little bit of a battle going on here to see who wins the stage, but it could be still that Hepner can keep on, particularly with this strong wind blowing down now. They've had quite a useful day. The wind hasn't been that bad, but coming up here now, the wind is beginning to cause all sorts of troubles, which is rather keeping the group a bit compact, because one rider on his own down there gets buffeted by the wind, and even on a climb like this, the chaps are a few places back off the front are still getting a bit of shelter, and it's making it difficult for anybody to split this field completely. You see one by one here, and the red and white coming off the front here are the helpers that have been doing all the work they can to aid Hamilton in his quest for the success today, and of course the jersey. That 103, I think it was, 107, couldn't work out which number it was as he came drifting back off the front there, but that might have been 107. Needed to be Adyev, the Ukrainian rider. Still our two leaders, and quite a sizable group of the main contenders for the pink jersey back there. Well, it's amazing that we're seeing on our screen now, because they're not going that fast really to sort things out. And Caucioli has now gone away for the Alessio team. And Caucioli is quite well placed on, I think, the general classification. He's back in 8th spot, and in 9th, my mistake. 4 minutes 41 seconds down on Hepner, and he hasn't been on our short list, has he, at the moment?
No, he's only 32 seconds off Casagrande's time. So he could also be. There's a few people in this group that could be in the pink jersey. One of the things I noticed last time they showed Hepner was he's in a bit of a dangerous spot, and he's going to have to be careful, because if the riders in front of him lose contact with those big climbers, he's going to have to go around them, and that's going to take more energy than he's going to have, and then chase back up to what are considered the world's best climbers. It'll be hard for Hepner. Yeah, well, it's 4 kilometres to go now, and he can afford to lose, what do we reckon, to still keep the jersey back to the best placed man behind him? He can lose 4 minutes and 7 seconds, because he's 4:08 off Casagrande. Right. So let's say about 3:50 then, because we have got the problem of the bonuses of 12, 8 and 4 seconds, which causes almost lots of troubles for us. But certainly Caucioli start to come across this lot like he's in a different race of his own, and there he is, nipping off the front, catching up with our breakaways. Perez says, I'm having none of this. He starts to accelerate as well, seeing that somebody else is coming up. He shed the Colombian.
And
well, Perez is very much of an individual, isn't he? He doesn't seem to need help or want help from anyone.
it reminds me a lot, well, not of Chiappucci. You could never know what Chiappucci was going to do next, and this chap, you never know what he's going to do, except that he only goes in the mountain. Chiappucci would go on the flat as well, just for the hell of it, or the minor climb. You never know what Chiappucci is going to do any day. But now Simoni starts to go, and Cadel is still hanging on to the wheel of Casagrande. So this is a splitter. This is where suddenly 4Ks to go, the hammer is nearly down, and I've been waiting for this, Christie. This is at some point now they've got to really start to blow this apart. There are too many people there, I think, for the top brass.
Yeah, Simoni is not letting Casagrande get even a wheel up on him. He's keeping an eye on him. He's very distracted by Casagrande's presence, whereas Casagrande is basically hanging on, and he's saying, okay, you don't want me to pass you, I'll wait. I'll take my time and I'll pick my moment. But they could very well pull away, just those two, away from the other general classification contenders, because this is what they do.
And the acceleration then has now strung everybody out. You can see what a lot of riders. There's the pink jersey of Hepner, and he's looking down the road. And I think at the way it's going, because they've had a little bit of a burst in El Banjo now, and they've settled down again. Perez has been pulled in, and they're looking to see what damage they've done. I think they're prepared to keep this string going a bit longer. And Hepner, I think this pace is suiting Hepner at the moment.
And Cadel Evans is certainly working hard to stay on the wheel of Casagrande. You can see his face is all strained, and he looks like he is suffering.
But the interesting thing is too, as he moves on the outside here, I hope he doesn't go make me eat my words by attacking. If he's sensible, he'll stay with these two. We just saw Caucioli go down the road and try and get away, and then he ran out of steam and they got back to him. I think at the moment you've got to let the big boys have a go and just ride, and then leave it to maybe the last kilometre or 500 metres to do anything, because there's the experience of Simone, there's the experience of Casagrande. They know how to ride a climb like this, and Cadel's doing just the right thing to ride with the big boys. Don't try and show off. I mean, Perez, it doesn't matter, because he's going to do anything any day. And no, I think will Perez be able to concentrate on what should be best tactic. He'll ride how he wants to ride, but the way Cadel is riding is very good indeed, and he's amongst some good useful riders. Figaro is still there at the moment as well. We've got a nice little useful group here, and Munoz, I think for the Columbia team, he's making it too as well. And see now how Verbrugge is trying to fight to get back. He had a go, he went off the front,
yeah,
and it was too early.
That took some precious energy, yeah. And I don't think that's going to be his friend today. But also I'm noticing that Hepner has, I believe, put himself in a bit of a no man's land. He's going to have to try to go with them as much as possible.
But the concentration is there. He knows, he can see them. The one thing about a climb like this is zigzags backwards and forwards. You can see them, and you can work out a time in your own mind. You think, that's only 10 seconds. I've lost 20 seconds now. I haven't quite lost a minute, because he'll know, and he can look up there and he can check on his watch then, as they all start then to go. And yet again, another man that we're thinking, Pellizzoli is starting to go as well. But
they've lost Cadel. Cadel's now moved back to about 7th wheel. So he wasn't able, that last little attack that they just had, he wasn't able to hold it.
He can't go with acceleration. He has to sort of go with, just stay there. Pellizzoli's gone across there now at the moment, so that's a good moment then. Pellizotti Alessio, still Simoni trying to batter Casagrande to pieces. It's not going to work. These two, as long as they battle each other and then ease back again, the rest can come back. But if they keep the battle going, it's going to be a hell of a problem for anybody else to have a chance to win this stage today. But the concentration is still there of Hepner, despite the troubles he's been suffering with his knee. He's got this far in the pink jersey. He took over that pink jersey in the race when he went in a breakaway group, which gave him the chance of taking the jersey, and his team have kept him up there ever since. On the front, that's Simoni in the red, riding for Psycho. In the white and blue, Casagrande riding for Fassa Bartolo.
We've just heard that Tonkov is in a bit of a strife. Also, he's losing a wheel somewhere. We can't see it, but that's what's happening. Looks like Hepner does have one teammate there, thank goodness. I'm actually in pain watching him. It looks like he's cranking a really big gear too.
It might be on Kessler, because he's been going well this season. I think he's got the ability to stay with Hepner, and I may get it terribly wrong, but I've been very impressed with all the way through this year so far.
Well, Casagrande and Simoni, they're having a great day, and Bellier, as you notice, has just been dropped off the back as well of those two. So he's not far off the number, but it looks like Casagrande is going to distinguish himself within his team, certainly today also. And I just think
Escartin, Casablanco. That's the rundown of the riders behind this lot. I just come over the headphones, so there they are. And yes, Cadell is still there.
Is it Cadell or Noe?
It might be Noe then, because I've certainly come Noe over the headphones. It must be Noe, yes.
Yeah. I think Cadell went backwards there for a second. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so they've mentioned Noe on the headphones here. My God, these two are going, aren't they? They're making it look so easy through this massive crowd, the usual gathering of the tifosi. And one thing they don't do on the Tour of Italy, they don't have the police going up the front and pushing them back as much as they do on the Tour de France. I know that the spectators come out in the Tour de France as well, but this lot are always so excited, and they're excitable too, that they just go into different orbits. And it's amazing how the bike riders manage to thread their way through mobs like this.
Well, it's rides like this that separate the real champion Tour riders from the people who would be in with a shot.
And in fact, it is Kessler I just saw with Hepner, so can I have the rest of the day off now?
That's right. That's right. Well, I'm in awe of these two men. They're riding so well, and they aren't going to let each other go, which makes this race really interesting.
That's on the right was Escartin struggling. Just in front then was Casablanco, tried to go away. Look at the wind here in this final kilometre. So the winner undoubtedly the today's stage is going to come from these two. And Simone's been doing all the work, and Casagrande's been sitting in the wheel as Casablanco leads the chase group at the moment. So
actually, Casagrande is driving Simone crazy, I think. He keeps switching sides, which he's on, and Simone is looking over each shoulder, then he has to look over the other shoulder and see where exactly he is.
And what's the gap between the two on the GC? Because you've been working out, Christie, haven't you?
Yep.
So
just 1 second. 20 seconds.
20 seconds
20
between
seconds.
the two.
So the bonifications will certainly be important too on this stage. But do they have 4 minutes on Hepner?
So Casagrande, it is 20, I think it's 19, is it, or 20 seconds between Casagrande and Savoldelli. Whatever it is.
18 between Casagrande and Savoldelli, 20 between Simone and Casagrande.
Right. So Simone is 20 seconds back. So then Casagrande is, provided he stays at it, is likely to take the stage. He isn't going to take the yellow jersey, nor what's Simone going to do? He's been doing all the work so far. Oh, they're coming back at them. It's
interesting that Noe is there too, because as I predicted this morning, he's going to be the one on GC for the Mapai team.
Yeah, Cadell had to go, but he suddenly went bang, didn't he? And that's it.
Well, Noe is Italian too, and I think that there's some good morale there from the Italians on the Mapai team to support him. So are they going to sprint? Are you going to pick one, David, today?
Oh, Casagrande's been in the wheel all the way through, and certainly Casagrande, I think, is using his skill and experience here. Simone has decided he's trying to rip the thing to pieces, but undoubtedly Casagrande has been. Yes, there goes Casagrande, the left-hand side, then Simone trying hard to get Simone. Start to come back. Casagrande tried, but he's dying.
He got
it. So that's me in the...
Well, he earned it. He did earn it today, didn't he, David?
It was worth it. He was allowed to get it. It was his thing. He should have got it anyway. But
it has to be hard to sprint at the end of a climb like that.
Both of them, though, were sort of equally matched, weren't they?
Yeah,
extremely well matched.
Now Hepner, it's a ride with a clock, and I think he's going to keep the pink jersey.
Certainly, that's a good ride there, because you can see, despite the fact that Simone's now got himself a very justifiable, I think, in the circumstances he's been through, to just show his courage to ride so hard there and take Casagrande with him. We didn't do much. That's where it would have been bad if Casagrande had got the stage, because he spent most of his time in Simone's wheel. But that's bike racing anyway. This happens from time to time. But here with the pink jersey in this group, then watch the clock at the top, because it looks like he will certainly keep the pink jersey where they're going here, and he's inside to the finish. So Hepner, what a day he's had. They start the sprint. He's just got to stay in that group, and he'll be given the same time the first man across the line. So he's only lost 1 minute and about 3 seconds. So that means that he's going to be up there still in pink.
We could still see him in pink for 2 more days, really, because he could keep it again tomorrow.
Yes, unless they start to go to battle quite in the sort of early part of the stage tomorrow, and somehow I don't quite think so. I think they have to wait until tomorrow, because to day after tomorrow, because tomorrow it's what if I call it undulating. It's probably not exactly, but the climbs come quite early on, and then there's a middle bit where it's pretty conky, but it runs all the way down towards the finish with practically nothing to upset the apple cart, except when they do these little these circuits where they're a bit of a short, sharp climb. But if he can stay with them to that finishing circuit, he may lose another minute or minute and a half, but I think he could be in pink again tomorrow.
The telecom team is a powerful team, and that is a very good good profile for a team like that to control the race and to maybe get him away in a group, in a large group, in front of those little climbers who are going to certainly be suffering after today. Oh, here it is.
So looking back again, as it seemed that Casagrande, who'd been spending a lot of time in the wheel of Simone, got it well and truly, but then suddenly Simone began to look like he's running out of steam, and he looks across, and then you watch him go now. They said he seems to suddenly go into overdrive, or was it Casagrande running out of speed? I don't think so. Casagrande looked to me like he's pushing slightly too big a gear.
Yeah, he does. He does. He looks like he's pushing in a bit of a square. I wonder what happened to Cadell. I mean, he was there and then he was gone. Did he have a puncture? Because I didn't see him finish with Hepner either.
We will find out what happened to him. It certainly, he just exploded in more ways than one, perhaps.
Yeah, either he went backwards or he had a flat.
Yeah.
Would it be a bad time for a puncture?
But I didn't hear so much noise come out of my headphones that I'm sorry I missed that one. Gotti 32 seconds. Moreni's come in.
I don't know if you noticed, but see how close
Hepner's still in the lead, coming over now.
Okay.
Casagrande is second. Third is Simone. Savadoli is then fourth. And Caccioli is after that. That's just come over headphones, waiting for confirmation of that on the classification, but that will be coming up shortly on our screens, I'm sure, just to confirm the situation. It's come over my headphones.
There is going to be a little bit of a reshuffle. I didn't see Hamilton at the end either.
I didn't either. His team were all round about him, but they suddenly seemed to drop back quite a bit. Descartin was up there too, with just behind the darling of the Italians, he with the long flowing locks, and still looks like something from, I suppose, an out-of-date footballer's haircut, Pelizzotti. Although footballers still have them, don't they?
Yeah.
He was out of the group too as well, so he will have moved up. He was 21st this morning.
Frigo was in it.
Yep.
Yep, he was there, and Belly was there. So it looks like the only two I'm wondering about are Evans and Hamilton, the American and the Australian. This is not good.
Well, they're coming up on the headphones again, but well, who's Alice? There's a song about that, isn't there?
Who the heck is Alice? Yeah.
Alice for those who on the internet. Oh, I see. And well, there's nobody there, is there? They've all gone home. They've had enough. It isn't tea break, is it? I had a delightful pizza last night, and the restaurant was called San Remo. I thought that as Mr. Cipollini didn't win yesterday, I'd go and find a suitable restaurant. I found one called San Remo. I thought, that's it. And I've got their card here, which has got three rather large ladies, obese I think is the word, on the front cover. So they can't be Cipollini supporters. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the situation then with the stage going to Simone, and still a pink jersey, Hepner.
You know, with the cloud that's hanging over Simone, having a stage like this, having won a stage like this, it lifts his spirits, certainly, and it will be good for him. I think he's coming out of that shadow, because I think the doctor's note and everything is going to help him to overcome any sort of scandal that's going to happen. I think the damage has been done, and now we're going to get on with it. And showing his strength here on the stage certainly helps.
Well, as a man who has won this race last year, he's got a lot of experience, and he was third in 99 and third in the year 2000 as well, so he's very much built for stage racing. You don't see him doing a lot more other than his stage races, and he's really scored a point today, I think. And I was expecting perhaps to do a little bit more when we've got further up country, because he does come from the area of the Dolomites, and in fact he got interested in cycling. Let's see if there's anybody important back here, Christie. I don't think there's anybody that I don't be disrespectful to these lads lads here, they've all done a job. I mean, the CSC Tuscany lads did what they could for
Tyler.
Yeah, but I don't think it's struggle. But we're not suddenly discovering somebody who we'd lost suddenly coming in a bit late like that, are we? No. Back again to this little go here on your screen. Certainly that Simone, we were looking and probably thinking that he might come through and do a lot more towards the end of the race. That was his strategy in previous years, but he's now started to go quite early on here with Casagrande. So I think they're probably trying to settle early scores to see who's top dog. And it turned out to be Simone, who's been, well, he's been 8 times in the past. He's taken the pink jersey. He hasn't particularly got it on this occasion. And he's a young lad who turned pro after he watched Francesca Moser many years ago. He comes from a village very close to where Simone is, and he took up cycling at the age of 12 and then went on to be quite a successful rider indeed over the years. And he's now coming up here to add to his victories with this one here. Not always a chap that wins lots of victories anyway. He's just there always consistently. He's had somewhat 13 victories up to today. Amazing it might seem with his reputation, but a lot of these chaps just manage to stay thereabouts and then come out by winning a big stage race. But he's got a stage victory to his account now, and maybe the pink jersey yet to follow. Simone then the victor today.
And also such a strong stage. He rode such a strong stage. You know, he was never really sitting on. And yesterday he was making moves too. So he's clearly showing that he's fit and ready for this challenge. But how many seconds does he get for the?
He gets 12 seconds
stage?
here for this.
So that doesn't put him in the first place. Casagrande is still at second position. Yeah?
Yes, because Casagrande got 8 seconds, so there's only 4 seconds separating. When you said about 20 seconds between them this morning, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So on the GC, Hepner will still be there in the lead. He's lost a bit of time, but not a lot.
And the battle will continue, certainly day in and day out now with these two.
Yeah, a bit lumpy tomorrow, if you come and join us tomorrow. We will be, those you watching our live coverage will be able to maybe watch on replay as all the Psycho lads come in. They're going rather happy, I think, with that particular result today. But we'll be coming back live tomorrow. We'll have a trailer, those of you watching our live coverage, about what's going to be on tomorrow. And but you won't be able to see, unfortunately, the profile of the route tomorrow, which is a bit lumpy, as to put it mildly. And they're going over some climbs. In fact, the worst one is 1,285 metres above sea level. And there we are then. So that's the... Oh, it flashed on and flashed off. That was the result of the stage, because we need to get Hepner up there with his pink jersey. He's still in the lead in the competition for that jersey. The gaps come down a bit, but I think tomorrow, if he can get through the early part of the race, unless they start to really race in these early Kingdom Mountains climbs here, Christie, that's going to be the tough. If he can get halfway with them, well, it's only get to Intejada. If he's still there and in contact, then I think he can survive the back end too. But he's going to be a lot of pressure tomorrow.
It's going to be a pressure on his team as well to control the race and make sure that he's protected as much as possible.
Yeah, it could well be, I think, that the other teams, because it could be one of those stages where they're just going to ride for that King of the Mountains and just wear people down. But if they do start racing early on and ripping the thing to pieces, then there could be all hell let loose, and I don't think he'd have much chance. It just depends on how they race tomorrow. If they race, he's in trouble. If they ride just into the finish and race the next day, then he could be in trouble on the next day, because we have got a very, very nasty climb again, another mountaintop finish, but not as bad as today. So, you know, he might hang on in there, but somehow
I think it'd be a hat trick for 3 days, but I think maybe tomorrow.
We shall see.